Yeah, so good day everyone. This is Begotten again. And in this very short and concise course, I'm going to be talking about singing high notes. So all we're going to be talking about is singing high notes. The first thing that you should take advantage of, or you should actually know, is how this human voice is produced. I've taught it over and over again, but I'll just run through it now, so that if you missed any of my teachings, my previous teachings, you just get the whole thing. So the thing is, you take in breath through your nostrils or your mouth, and at the end of the day, you store the breath in your lungs. And if you are breathing correctly, which is the diaphragmatic way of breathing, and you find out that when you inhale, this place between your rib cage and your navel, right, it protrudes. And when you exhale, it's supposed to constrict, right? So that's basically how we take in breath, and that's basically how we breathe. Now, in talking or singing or whatever it is that you have to use your voice, the human voice, it is very important to know that when you take in air and you store it in your lungs, upon exhaling, the air passes through just behind this place where our tongue, behind this, behind this place where our tongue goes down into our esophagus. Behind it, we have our trachea, or like a windpipe sort of. And so the air travels back up out of that windpipe, and that's where our vocal folds are. So the vibration of our vocal folds actually is responsible for this human voice. So this is very important, because when we say singing high notes, there are lots of times that we want to sing they don't know what you mean to me. And you find many people want to do, they don't know, wanting to hit the notes up there, or perhaps catch it right from the ceiling. There's a lot of standing on your toes and stressing your necks. Now, it's very important to note that there is no, all that stretching and all that reaching out doesn't really affect or help your high notes. It's basically understanding how you breathe, right, will help you know that if you need high notes, you have to focus on diaphragmatic breathing. You have to walk your breath and understand your breath. Then you know that you're not reaching out anywhere to get better notes. You can actually control the notes from within. The whole notes and everything, both the high, they don't know what you mean to me, they don't know what you mean to me. So the low notes and they don't know. I just sang on falsetto now. This is my falsetto. They don't know what you mean to me. But I will use my head voice. They don't know what you mean to me. Yeah. So I can't do that on my head voice without necessarily straining, because I understand that I'm not reaching out anywhere. So in hitting high notes, it's very important that all those reaching out, you kill it totally. Now, posture is very important. Anything that obstructs your breathing will obstruct your singing. I said it before and I'll say it again. There's a posture video on my YouTube channel. You can still go down and watch it. Anything that obstructs your breathing will ultimately obstruct your singing. So it's important that you stand relatively straight, or your spinal cord, right? So let me just come back. So your spinal cord, your back is relatively straight. And some people say that you chest out, right? I feel it can be discomforting when you always have to remind them chest out to sing now. But just be as comfortable as possible, but make sure that your back is straight and you are not straining anywhere around here. Then you'll be able to hit notes better. There are a few hacks, like bending a little bit. If you watch a lot of live performances, when people want to hit a sharp note and quickly get back, a lot of them kind of bend and hit it, and come back. And come back. So there's that sharp bend forces. Remember what I told you about your diaphragm or your abdomen, which is just beneath your ribcage. So that bending helps force the air out quickly, and there's that sharp piercing scream. And when they get back up, they can get back to singing what they are singing. However, if you're going to be singing high notes consistently, that is not just something sharp and you're coming back. It's very important that you work on your posture make sure that you are singing straight and push from within. So instead of singing, how much is that dog in the window, and straining all of this place, the one with the waggly tail, my friend needs a doggy to protect her and scare them away with one back, whoop, and all of that. Instead of doing that and straining all this place, straining here or straining here, consciously remind yourself that you have to push from here. This is where most of the sound and the strength is coming out from. So make sure that you are pushing. It's going to take a little while, especially when you begin to do it, when you work on pushing here, right? It's going to take a little while, but over time you'll find out that it makes it a lot easier. It makes it a total lot easier to sing and reach those high notes. Another very interesting tip I would like to give you for singing high notes is the fact that if you cannot sing a song on a particular key, or you cannot hit those notes, if you cannot sing a particular song twice without your loss of voice, please don't bother singing the song live on stage. If you cannot sing a particular song in a rehearsal twice, that's back to back, just finish singing then sing it again, you can't do that. Please don't try singing the song on stage. You most probably have complications and all of that. And it's not that perhaps you are not hitting high notes. What is high for me might be relatively low for you, and might be relatively if impossible, unreachable for another person, right? So one thing is responsible for all of these disparities, called our vocal range. Our vocal range is basically the full width of your singing, so your lowest note to your highest note. And because we have different because we are different human beings, we have different shapes and texture and thickness, right, of our vocal folds. We all have different vocal ranges, right? Someone like Onos Ario, Jessica Reedy, they can hit really low notes that will compete with guys. They can sing the tenor part greatly, and they cannot reach some of those really high notes that some of the normal ladies can reach. So I don't know if you understand it. So vocal ranges is unique to every individual. However, there are vocal range extension exercises that can be done. It's one of the bonuses of this particular course. So you get the video, you get to watch the video later. So if you can't sing a particular song twice in a rehearsal straight without losing your voice, without any loss of voice or serious headaches or complications, please don't bother singing it on stage. How would I advise that you change if you must do that particular song? Please change the key. It's very important. You can reduce by semitone or semitone, then you get to a point where you can actually do the song fully without any loss of voice or anything. Then that's great. You can do the song, you can dwell there and do the song there. For the people who believe, be them music directors, or I know that for television reality shows or music shows, they get trainers. They're supposed to have trainers who are actually knowledgeable, so they don't force you to sing on a key that the original singers have done the song, right? But many music directors always insist that songs be done, especially choir songs, be done on the same key. Please, you can educate your music director that if he wants or she wants the song to be done on the same key, they either get the person who sang it or get someone in the choir who has the same vocal range, not necessarily the texture, especially when it's actually too pitchy or too low, so that it doesn't sound weird. So if you are leading the song and all of that, then they can also tweak the parts. They can swap the parts or rearrange the parts in such a way, if they are changing the key, that it's not too low for one part and too high for the other and all of that. Yeah, so I hope you've learned a thing or two about this whole high notes thingy. It's very important that you nail it and you nail it well. Thank you.